Hello and good day, Mike Adcock with the Worldwide Tropical Outlook for the 14th of August 2013. This is valid through 9 Zulu. Now that Typhoon Utor has made landfall in Guangdong province, I'm going to start pulling back a little bit and taking a look at the tropics outside of just Typhoon Utor. Speaking of that, like I said, Utor did make landfall around 7 Zulu there in Guangdong province. Beyond that, though, do have 4 disturbances that we're monitoring. 90C about south of Hawaii there, 92 east, or yeah, 92E in the about southeast of Hawaii, and then a pair in the Atlantic, 92L west of, or actually east of Honduras, and then 93L off the west coast of Africa. Do want to bring some attention, though, to Typhoon Utor. At 9 Zulu, JMA placed the position of the storm about 50 kilometers west of Yangjing, or about 65 kilometers east-northeast of Maoming, there in Guangdong province. Winds are still pretty high, 70 knots gusting to 100, and it is continuing to move off to the north-northwest at 11 knots. Pressure up to 965 hectopascal. We are seeing the red warning continue out for from the Chinese Met Agency. Signal 3 is still raised for Macau and Hong Kong. And you can see here on the multispectral imagery, I made landfall earlier today, and it's going to continue to fill as it crosses and interacts with the land. Here is the official JMA track. Again, just moving it up to the north-northwest, or to the northwest rather, and it's going to continue to get sheared, interact with the land, fall apart. So as we shift away from a high wind concern, we'll definitely have to keep abreast of heavy rainfall, especially in this region that's been picking up rainfall after a handful of tropical cyclones through July and August. Guangdong, Hainan province, and northern Vietnam, for that matter, has been like the Okinawa of last year, really been beat up. Matter of fact, the track guidance, for what it's worth, continues it, off to the northwest and then shifts it more westerly, giving a continued rainfall in the same region that's been pounded time and time again from multiple tropical cyclones. So flooding concerns will be, of course, an issue as Utor falls apart. Intensity guidance, really not much to see here. It's on land, so it's going to continue to weaken over the next several hours. Here are our surface weather plots. This is from 9 Zulu. You can see do have plenty of gusty winds gusting up to 30 knots. Do have some reports sustained up into the 30s. Heavy rainfall, that's reducing our visibility to just a few kilometers. Matter of fact, taking a look in Zhangxing, 39 knots sustained with moderate rain showers there. That's brought the visibility down to 2 kilometers. Notice the pressure there, 993 hectopascal. And Xingyi, also some light rain showers there, 14 knots, 985 for your pressure. Yangjing, dealing with some light rain showers as well, 33 knots sustained. They've have some of the lower pressures that I've seen so far, 976 hectopascal. And then lastly, taking a look over to the east in Hong Kong, partly cloudy skies, light rain showers, gusty winds though, 31 knots. Pressure is 997. Still looking for some gusty winds and some heavy showers to roll through the Hong Kong region over the next several hours. Alright, taking a look in the Central Pacific, this is 90C. Central Pacific Hurricane Center placed it at 6 Zulu, 1125 kilometers south-southeast of Hilo. Just really looking at a surface trough with this. Some isolated showers and thunderstorms, as you can see on the multispectral imagery. Conditions really aren't favoring any sort of development. It's going to continue to move off to the west at about 13 knots. Some breezy winds, especially in those showers, looking at 25 knots there. But really not expecting any development from this whatsoever. Track guidance continues off well to the south of Hawaii, moving to the west. We'll have to see toward the end there as it approaches the date line. There are some indications that it may start to strengthen again, get into some better conditions. So it may be a far western Central Pacific threat, or it could actually become, after it crosses the date line, a Western Pacific threat. But intensity guidance does show some strengthening in the after a few days, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. In the Eastern Pacific, 92E at 0 Zulu, National Hurricane Center places about 1,930 kilometers east-southeast of Hawaii. Again, another trough, disorganized showers and thunderstorms with it. Really not expecting a whole lot out of it. If it's going to develop, it's going to be in the near term, but it's going to be less favorable for development after a couple of days. Right now, if there is any development, it will be near term, looking at a 20% chance, but really not seeing much there. Should continue off toward the west, well south of Hawaii, and again looking at the intensity guidance, not seeing much of anything at all. The ships it is the outlier, brings it up to tropical storm strength, but I think that's really generous. Really shouldn't see any development as it crosses the Central Pacific. Moving over to the Atlantic, 92L, this was brought up yesterday. The tropical wave over the western Caribbean Sea here. Again, some showers and thunderstorms extending from Cuba, Jamaica, all the way through Honduras and Nicaragua. It's going to continue moving up to the northwest over the next few days, crossing over the Yucatan Peninsula and entering in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Right now, there is a shot at development in the near term, but that's going to be capped off as it crosses the Yucatan. Now, once it exits the Yucatan, moves into the Gulf of Mexico, and this is going to be toward the end of this week, then it's got a little bit better chance. So over the next 5 days, National Hurricane Center is giving it a 40% chance at development. Here's our track guidance. Again, just carrying it off to the northwest there, crossing the Yucatan, and then once it gets into the Bay of Campeche, there is a chance at some development. You can see that on the intensity guidance. There is a small window now, but that should be shut relatively soon with passage over the Yucatan, and then some further development after about day 3 or so, and that may bring us our next tropical storm. And then looking way out east, 93L, this just exited the western coast of Africa. Matter of fact, it's about 155 kilometers west-southwest of Banjul in the Gambia. Area of low pressure with this. It's starting to get a little bit better organized now that it's over water. We will keep an eye on it. Really, right now, the near term, it has the best chance at development. After about the next couple days, then it starts running into some cooler air, or cooler water rather, and some more drier, stable air. Really will limit development. In the meantime, this will be of interest for Cape Verde as it approaches them. You can see that on the track guidance there, brushing the Cape Verde Islands and then opening out in the or moving across the open Atlantic there. There is some indication after about day 2 or so that there might be some development, but we'll really see how the cooler waters and especially the drier, stable air plays out with this system. So that pretty much wraps up our outlook for today. You can continue to follow along with Typhoon Utor as it wreaks havoc there. Some gusty winds, but really some heavy rainfall there in Guangdong province and neighboring areas. So you can follow along with updates there on westernpacificweather.com or also there on Twitter and Facebook. We'll be shifting gears in the Western Pacific as Utor dies. There is model indication that we'll have a developing system in the next few days that should be impacting Okinawa, or appears to look like it will impact Okinawa over the weekend, and then eventually next week affecting eastern China. Does look like it's going to be our best chance at our next named storm in the western Pacific. Of course, you can also join in on the global tropical discussion at storm2k.org, and follow me on Twitter at Senior Pepper. I'll be posting here and there between videos. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Be safe and take care.